My therapist says I'm acting out.
Whether you love them or hate them, though I'm guessing if you clicked on this video you love them, you cannot deny that Damon Salvatore and Elena Gilbert are an iconic television couple. Between their undeniable chemistry, the intense love triangle, and honestly even just Damon's silly facial expressions, there is so much to talk about when it comes to Damon and Elena's interactions. My name is Catherine. And today I'm going to be doing a deep dive into Delena and analyzing all of the moments that made them into the iconic ship that they still are, even half a decade after the show ended. If you're new here, I would love to have you subscribe. Obviously, we're getting started with season 1. However, spoiler warning, I will be referencing moments from later seasons as they pertain to season 1 Delena scenes. So if you haven't finished the show yet, watch this at your own risk. Let's start at the very beginning. In the pilot episode, there is not actually any interaction between Damon and Elena unless you count him harassing her in his bird form, which personally I don't, but you do you.
Hi, bird.
And that, kids, is how I met your mother.
Moments after Damon makes his on-screen debut, Stefan and Damon have their first conversation regarding
Elena. She took my breath away.
We later learn that this is merely a continuation of the brothers' feud over
Catherine.
She's not Catherine.
For us, this marks the start of a jealousy battle that lasts for pretty much the entire show. Episode 2 is where Damon and Elena first have their meet cute.
I'm Damon, Stefan's brother.
He didn't tell me he had a brother.
Well, Stefan's not one to brag.
Elena goes over to the Salvatore house to look for Stefan, but finds Damon instead, which can honestly just be seen as a metaphor for the entirety of Stelena versus Delena. Now, we later learn that this isn't the first time Elena meets Damon.
I'm Elena.
I'm Damon.
But for all we know, and for all she knows in this moment, it is. Elena bumps into Damon and he instantly hits her with the charm, and she is instantly looking at him like, oh my god, this dude is hot. And I don't blame her. And then starts the quintessential Delena stare, where she's just looking at him like, oh my god, I cannot believe you just said that. And he's like, but you love it. And then they don't really interact for the rest of the episode because Damon is too busy being a creeper and Elena is too busy being, well, perfect. Which brings us into episode 3, Friday Night Bites. I would argue that this is the biggest Delena episode of early season 1. There's tension, there's layers upon layers of jealousy, and I don't know about you, but I love this episode. Damon does a lot of not so subtle flirting with Elena when he and Caroline crash Elena's dinner.
I like you. You know how to laugh. And you make Stefan smile, which is something I haven't seen in a very long time.
Damon definitely has his issues with Stefan, and at this point, I think he's still stuck in his eternity of misery promise. But at his core, he does love Stefan, and I think there's some part of him that actually is happy that Elena makes Stefan the
Poster child for Prozac.
smile. And since Damon is so busy pretending not to care, Elena almost realizes before Damon even does that he loves Stefan, and I think it's little moments like this that contribute to that. Damon slides another compliment in when talking about Catherine.
She's beautiful. A lot like you in that department.
And Elena is quick to ask,
Which one of you dated her first?
she's already so observant with them and the dynamic between them. She's sitting there like, there's absolutely no way these boys have so many issues and they're not in love with this girl. Elena really starts to open up to Damon when talking about cheerleading.
Everything that used to matter doesn't anymore.
So don't let it. Quit. Move on. Problem solved. Ta-da.
Damon is encouraging her to stop trying to revert to the person that she used to be and instead move forward to the person she has yet to be. I think this is a nice parallel to season 4 when Elena becomes a vampire and Damon helps her move forward. Stefan also does this later in the episode, by the way, just to make it clear. My name is also Catherine, and like our icon, legend, and star, Katerina Petrova,
It's okay to love them both. I did.
I also love them both, and I don't want anyone to take me pointing out good things that Damon does as Stefan bashing. He is my meow meow. I think the most important moment in this episode is when Elena apologizes to Damon for his loss of Catherine.
I'm sorry about Catherine. You lost her too.
Damon is so genuinely shocked to be at the receiving end of empathy because he's gotten so used to being the bad guy that he just expects to be treated like the bad guy. In this moment, Damon realizes that he has the chance to either take advantage of this clean slate and be a better guy, or to continue on wreaking havoc in Mystic Falls like he originally planned. Ultimately, he does a little bit of both in season 1, but for the rest of this episode, he really goes full toxic asshole, which is demonstrated in him trying to kiss Elena and her slapping him. Damon already cares about Elena in this moment because otherwise he probably would have killed her just for that, which
OMG, he didn't kill her, he cares.
it really shows how low the bar is for Damon, especially in these early seasons.
I am not Catherine.
But he's made it clear that he doesn't value human life, or at least he claims not to. Then he goes on to throw a temper tantrum to prove that he doesn't care about anything by killing the guy that literally no one cares about.
Not the dickhead. What do you want me to say?
Later, we see Damon sneaking into Elena's bedroom, stroking her face, which, let's be honest, it's creepy. And I guess this is as good of a time as any to acknowledge that Damon does really bad things, especially in season 1. He's not a good person, and in making this video, I'm in no way condoning these actions, but I do know that he is a very well-liked character for at least 2 reasons. And I think it's very interesting to explore the complexities of him as a character, as well as his relationship with the show's main protagonist. And let's be honest, perfectly moral characters just make for boring television. Damon is essentially the antagonist of season 1, or at least the first half of season 1, which is such a hard pill for people to swallow, I think, because he is such a loved character. But I'm not arguing about this, like, he is, and that's what makes this scene of him stroking Elena's face so interesting, because so far we've pretty much just seen this total dickhead who uses offensive humor to deflect everything. And here we can see in his eyes that this girl does actually evoke human emotions in him. Also, the layering of this scene with Stefan narrating his diary entry.
There's nothing human left in Damon.
Meanwhile, we're seeing in Damon's eyes that there is something human left in him. It's good TV, y'all. It's good TV. This is also the second time he sneaks into her bedroom in this episode, the first time being in his crow form to give her a dream about him. This episode is the last time he tries to mind control Elena for a while, and it's not just because
Vervain and the necklace.
Because even when she doesn't have it on in episode 11, he doesn't compel her because he wants it to be real.
We were having fun. I wanted it to be real.
Because of the attempted kiss and because of Damon's mild / not so mild trash talking of Caroline, Elena goes into episode 4 already annoyed with Damon. We see Damon's first true Stelena jealousy moment at the start of the party. Like, he's mad, he's jealous, he's stewing, he's brewing. And he does actually apologize for trying to kiss Elena, but he does it in such a sarcastic manner that it doesn't really seem to do much.
My therapist says I'm acting out.
I absolutely love the line.
Doesn't it always come down to the love of a woman?
Because at least for the first 3 seasons, if not for longer, the love of Elena is pretty much, it's a very big plot point for the first 3 seasons.
Look, I'm sorry that you and Stefan have this thing between you, but I can't get in the middle of it, Damon.
Elena saying she can't get between the 2 of them is so funny because she somehow spends most of the show both simultaneously getting between the 2 brothers and pulling them closer together.
I hope you 2 can work it out.
I hope so too.
Damon seems so genuine in saying this. Like, with Damon saying that he likes that Elena can make Stefan smile, this small moment really shows that underneath all of Damon's shenanigans, he truly does love Stefan. I firmly believe that Damon's love for Stefan is the first good thing that Elena saw in Damon, and without seeing that he is capable of love himself, Elena may have never even fallen in love with him. But despite being capable of love and compassion deep down, Stefan. It's way, way deep down at this point, and his mistreatment of Caroline gets exposed, which leads to another confrontation between Elena and Damon that probably would have resulted in Damon killing her if she were literally any other person. And then Stefan puts Damon in their basement prison cell, which is a totally normal thing to have in your basement. Due to Damon's timeout, we don't have any Delena interaction in episode 5, and as far as Elena is concerned,
He's not coming back.
and while she has empathized with him on multiple occasions, at this point, his bad outweighs his good, and she is happy that he is gone and can't hurt Caroline anymore. This is also the episode where Elena really starts to realize that the math is not mathing. And by episode 6, Elena has found out that Damon and Stefan are vampires, which leaves her very rightfully terrified of both of them. And as if she wasn't going through enough shock, Damon turns Vicky into a vampire, which not only temporarily shatters Elena's relationship with Stefan, but creates this deep-rooted mistrust for Damon, because he's no longer just the run-of-the-mill older brother bad boy. At this point, he's a supernatural creature that a week ago Elena didn't even know actually existed, and he's a dangerous one at that. Lost Girls is such a pivotal episode for this show. I really like it for a lot of reasons. But there is not much direct interaction between Damon and Elena. However, the interaction that they do have is pretty vital in my opinion. When Damon says that Vicky is going to thank him for turning her into a vampire, Elena asks him,
Did you thank Catherine?
Elena knows Damon well enough by now to hit him where it hurts, and despite how scared she is of him in this moment, she's not afraid to throw that punch because some part of her knows that he won't retaliate against her, which is solidified in episode 7 when she literally says,
If you wanted me dead, I'd be dead.
Yes, you would.
He's like, yeah, you're right. If I wanted you dead, you would be dead. Because there's been so many moments where if he wanted her dead, she would be dead already. Stefan ultimately has to stake Vicky, which just adds another trauma to Elena and Jeremy's life. Damon claims not to care.
You confuse me for someone with remorse. None of this matters to me. None of it.
People die around you. How could it not matter? It matters and you know it.
Elena saying this back to him definitely feels like a punch at him saying,
Stefan and I have watched almost every single person we've ever cared about die.
in episode 3, which again shows that Elena is not afraid to hit Damon where it hurts, or to literally hit him for that matter. Despite his temporary anger with Elena, and despite none of it mattering to him, Damon comes to check on her that evening. Damon is impulsive, we know this. Turning Vicky into a vampire is not the last time we'll see Damon do something he almost immediately regrets, and while he can't undo what he did, he does try to mitigate the damage and make amends with Elena by compelling Jeremy. In episode 8, we find out that he didn't just erase the memory of Vicky's death.
But he's acting different.
Elena, I took away his suffering.
Damon and Jeremy have a tumultuous relationship over the course of the show, but this is the first of many instances of Damon caring for Jeremy. It's definitely for Elena's sake at this time, because Damon knows how much she loves her little brother, and by lessening Jeremy's pain, he is also lessening Elena's pain. And then Damon kills Lexi. We really start to see the fallout from this in episode 9.
I didn't kill my brother. He has you to thank for that.
Now, in this instance, Elena talked Stefan out of killing Damon purely because she knew that Stefan would not be able to live with the guilt of killing his own brother.
I'm not trying to save him, I'm trying to save you. You have no idea what this will do to you. Please, Stefan.
However, I'm still counting it as an important moment for Delena because this is the first of many times Elena stops the brothers from hurting each other.
A simple, I didn't kill my brother text would have sufficed.
And honestly, like, her involvement in their love for each other is so vital to both ships, honestly. And then, if everything Damon's done so far isn't enough, he tries to kill Bonnie. By this point, Damon desperately needs some redemption, and he does get a little white knight moment in episode 11, which, as far as I'm concerned, is the Delena episode of season 1, or it's at least tied with the Miss Mystic Falls episode. This is the first time we really see Damon being like super soft with Elena, and we get a ton of Delena banter in this episode.
Where are we?
Georgia?
Seriously, Damon, where are we?
Seriously, we're in Georgia.
This is kidnapping.
That's a little melodramatic, don't you think?
You're not funny.
This banter really sets up their dynamic for at least the next 3 seasons, where Elena gets annoyed with Damon for doing something outlandish, and Damon gets annoyed with Elena for being annoyed.
You were so much more fun when you were asleep.
But then really neither of them are that annoyed with each other. And Damon oscillates so quickly between like bugging her and then caring for her. It's really cute. It's also so important that Elena does not want to talk to Stefan.
He wants to talk to you.
Like, she is irritated as hell with Damon right now,
I'm not going to Georgia.
Well, you're in Georgia.
That's my phone.
but she's not actually scared to be alone with him, because if she was, she would want to talk to Stefan on the phone. I mean, like, she's a little creeped out by Stefan right now too, but
Did Stefan think that he could use me to replace her?
still, this has to count for something, right? This is also the first time that Damon pulls Elena out of her shell by tempting her with a good time.
Look, step away from your life for 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
In season 3, Ghost Rose talks about how Damon challenges Elena, but in a good way.
Damon challenges her, surprises her.
And this is one of the first times that we really see that. Also,
Damon, I'm not old enough. They're not gonna let me in.
Sure they will.
this is so like one of the last few moments of Elena having her real little high school innocence. Like, she does not understand that she has entered the world of vampires and the rules have very much changed. Also, why is Elena's blood on her head just straight up Sharpie? Like, she and Bonnie have the same 2 red Sharpie lines on their forehead right now. Why? Anyways, there are so many cute little moments in this episode. Like, when they first get into the bar, Damon takes Elena's shot for her and she gives him this little smile, even though later she does decide to drink. Like, she appreciated that he just did that because she was worried about going into a bar. I could make like a whole video on just this episode alone, to be honest.
You okay?
Don't pretend to care.
Damon looks for real hurt by that. Like, Elena has the power to hurt Damon that no other human does. He does actually care that his brother hurt Elena and that they're both hurting in this moment. Also, this is the episode where we basically find out that vampires still poop.
As long as I keep a healthy diet of blood in my system, my body functions pretty normally.
Amongst lots of other fun banter.
I need a bib.
Sorry, I can't unhinge my jaw like a snake to consume alcohol.
Whatever.
And in this episode, Elena saves Damon's life again when Lexi's boyfriend tries to enact revenge, and Elena literally begs for him to not kill Damon.
Don't do this. I'm begging you, please.
She even lets Lee stick with the idea that she's with Damon romantically just to keep him from killing Damon.
She said that when it's real, you can't walk away.
Well, that's a choice you're not gonna have to make.
Please don't hurt him.
I saved your life,
I know.
and don't you forget it.
Their little road trip is a total dynamic shift, or a turning point, or whatever you want to call it. Which brings us into episode 12, Unpleasantville. Once again, Elena is not afraid of Damon.
I'll be with the 2 of you. I'll be safe.
And this leads to some glances exchanged between Stefan and Damon. Stefan's very puzzled that Elena went along with Damon's plan, because last he knew, Elena was also very upset with Damon for killing Lexi. This leads to the first of many confrontations between Stefan and Elena. Well, not really a confrontation. Stefan's too chill for confrontation. It's just a conversation
You can be very persuasive, and you two have bonded.
with a lot of jealous undertones. Elena claims
That doesn't mean I trust him. It's gonna take a lot more than just a road trip and a rescue for me to forget who Damon is.
Blah, 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 blah.
But actions speak louder than words, and Elena's actions show that she does trust Damon, at least with her own life. Stefan is already getting nervous about Damon and Elena by this point, as he should be.
A lot of people will be scared here.
If I see something I haven't seen before, I'll throw $1 at it.
I am very uncomfortable with the energy that we've created in the studio today.
The start of episode 13 is honestly one of the funniest Stefan, Damon, and Elena scenes of the entire show.
You know, I really like this whole menage threesome team thing. It's got a bit of a kink to it. Don't screw it up.
I think this perfectly encapsulates the dynamic when the three of them are together.
Do you think Damon really believes us? That we're both trying to help him?
Even though Elena just claimed that she doesn't trust Damon in the last episode, she's real concerned as to if Damon trusts her.
Damon has no regard for human life. He enjoys inflicting pain on others.
Even after everything that she's witnessed, Stefan has to convince her that Damon is bad.
What are you doing in my house?
I want waffle fry.
Damon really says, speaking of Stefan, after Elena calls him out for flirting with her.
That move was deliberate.
Well, yeah, I was deliberately trying to get to the sink. Speaking of Stefan.
Like, he has no shame whatsoever.
I'm not compelling you.
But she is feeling compelled by him, because let's be real, Vervain does not stand a chance against those baby blues. This episode reminds me a lot of episode 3, I think just because there's so much kitchen Delena. Every scene when Damon is over for dinner is just like thick with tension, and he's being so domestic, and for what? Like, he looks so cute. Okay, off topic. Elena's really conflicted right now for 3 reasons. A, she's lying. B, obviously she's with Stefan. And C, she thinks Damon is in love with Catherine, and yet he's acting like this with her.
He is ridiculously hot. Shh. He's an ass.
Like, who's she trying to convince? Who is she trying to convince? And then Stefan is like so pressed when he rolls up and Damon is just already there. He's like, what is going on? But he definitely gets Damon back later in the episode when Damon finds out that Stefan and Elena were lying to him and weren't actually on his side. Elena genuinely looks sad in this moment, which I mean makes sense because she was already feeling bad about it before Damon even found out about it. And then Damon looks so conflicted when he tries to come up with a way to get what he wants without hurting Elena, and he ultimately realizes that he can't, which leads to him threatening to turn her.
And you and I will have a vampire girlfriend.
Obviously, there's more important things going on in this moment, but the fact that Damon on many occasions just refers to Elena as their girlfriend, and Stefan just sits there and takes it. Like, Stefan, get up. This sort of destroys all the trust that she'd built in him, but it also sort of doesn't, and we'll touch on that in a minute. Also, why does he smell her hair before letting her go? Like, dude, what the is that? It's creepy. Like, was that in the script? I need to know. Damon force feeds her blood again at the end of season 2 to guarantee that she'll come back from the sacrifice. And I think it's really interesting how in this episode, he's threatening to turn her because he'll do anything it takes to get Catherine back. And in season 2, he's doing it because he'll do anything it takes to not lose Elena. Both times it's really traumatic for Elena, and I think it shows that how warped Damon's perspective of love is due to his severe abandonment issues. And Elena is aware of this because earlier in the episode, she says,
I really think that Damon believes that everything he's done, every move that he's made, he's done for love. It's twisted, but kind of sad.
But yeah, not healthy, but moving on. Damon starts out episode 14 straight up lying.
I mean this sincerely. I hope Elena dies.
Elena knows that Damon's humor and anger are both just masks for the pain that he feels.
Now he's angry.
He's hurt. There's a difference.
Oh my god. The way that Damon looks at her in this moment actually has me curled up on the floor, screaming, crying, and hyperventilating. During this whole compulsion conversation, like, she is so confident that he did not compel her.
You didn't. I know you didn't. But you could have.
She has this almost blind trust in him. And in this episode, it's almost like she's not even really angry with him for threatening to turn her. And maybe that's because she feels like she deserved it for betraying him.
My betrayal hurt you. Different from how it is with you and Stefan.
And in her eyes now they're even. Or maybe she knew that he was never actually going to turn her in the first place.
You and I, we have something.
It's almost shocking that Elena admits that they have a connection so early on, because she really spends the next 2 seasons just completely denying her feelings for Damon.
Ask me if I'm lying now.
Elena taking off her necklace less than 24 hours after he threatens to turn her and leaves herself totally vulnerable to his compulsion. So significant. This whole moment is just so steamy. It's also important that this is the first of many times that Damon puts Stefan's necklace on her, because Delena and Stelena are just so intertwined. Like, if they were a graph, they would be a Venn diagram, but the Venn diagram would literally just be a circle.
Look, he needs leverage. I get it. I'll go.
I'm beating a dead horse, I know, but Elena trusts Damon so much that she's okay with him using her as leverage and believes that she is safe with him even in a tomb full of vampires. Okay, like, they're desiccated, but they're still very creepy. I don't want to be in there personally. I would go in with Damon though.
You went in there not knowing if you can come back out?
I heard you scream.
We can't leave him in there. We promised him, both of us.
She's so legitimately distressed when she finds out that Damon can't leave the tomb. Like, she absolutely refuses to betray Damon again.
Damon! Please.
Like, this is not Elena begging for him for her brother's sake. This is Elena begging because she does not want Damon stuck in that tomb forever. And then the hug afterwards. It's so soft. Stefan is so aware that Elena cares very deeply for Damon. Stefan is fighting demons right now. Elena tries to have a conversation with Damon about her birth mother in episode 15 because she's just found out that she's adopted. Meanwhile, Damon is so drunk off his ass that he can't even button his own shirt.
Help a guy out, would you?
I found out who my birth mother is.
Ugh, who cares? She left you. She sucks.
It's so funny to me how he can be so dismissive but so loving of Elena at the same time. Like, she literally just wants to talk about her birth mother, but he doesn't want to hear about it at all because anyone who would abandon Elena is not worth wasting oxygen on in his mind. Probably stems from his severe abandonment issues that were only exacerbated by discovering that Catherine was not in the tomb.
Where'd our girlfriend go?
Like, I can't believe he said that. Like, I can, but I can't believe he said that.
He's on our way to the grill.
Stefan, get up! Once Elena finds out that Damon killed her birth mother, there are a lot of emotions going around, obviously.
I was feeling sorry for him. I'm so stupid.
She's mad at Damon, but I think she's also, like, a little bit mad at herself in this moment.
Why are you protecting him?
Because you're not the only one hoping that you might actually change.
Stefan knows that Elena sees potential in Damon, and he also knows that Elena's opinion matters to Damon.
Her name was Isobel. Go ahead. Reminisce about how you killed her.
Damon realizes how badly he fucked up in this moment. I think he's starting to realize here that he can't just care about one human and no one else, because in hurting other humans, he's hurting the one human that he really cares about. And it shows how crucial Elena is to Damon's character development. Like, she does make him a better person. For sure. In episode 16, Damon just continues his pattern of, well, I've already messed up, so I might as well keep digging my grave.
Let's get hammered.
Like, Elena is mad.
And it's gotta hurt, right?
And it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
You have every reason to be upset with him.
Like, yes, attitude queen. But then the look she gives him after he's making out with Matt's mom, which...
What the fuck? Is this allowed? What the fuck? Is that allowed?
I would like to pretend that never happened. It's such a mixture of disappointment and disgust and pity. Like, she knows he's only acting like this because he's hurting, but she also knows that he's done some really, 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 really bad things, including things that had negative effects on her, and she does not want to care that he's hurting. But she does. Episode 17 is another really big Delena episode, and it opens up with some serious, like, Delena banter / Delena headbutting.
I've accepted the fact that you're a self-serving psychopath with no redeeming qualities.
Ouch.
This is a lie. It's a lie. He has many redeeming qualities. You know it, we know it, everybody knows it.
I'm sorry, he just makes me so cranky.
Yeah. You're cranky because you like him, but you're in denial about it.
You're ignoring me.
The 6 missed calls? Sorry, my phone's dead.
Like, Elena's snark towards Damon in this episode seriously breaks the snark meter.
I've earned snarky. We can't let them hurt him. We've got to get him out of there.
Elena. I know.
This scene is definitely the scene that sparked the Delena Rain Kiss Twitter campaign. The power of Delena. When Damon says that Pearl can help Alaric find his wife, Elena's "why are you lying" face is so funny.
The woman in charge of the crowd can help you find your wife.
Excuse me?
She's like, I don't want to be involved in this, but I have to be involved in this because my boyfriend's in trouble. It's really funny to me. And then there's just more banter in Alaric's classroom.
You're not going in there.
I'm going.
Child. Anyways.
So when you get me in, get out as quickly as you can.
Damon, now's not the time to be the Lone Ranger.
Fine. Elena, you can drive the getaway car. You're not going in the house.
And then Damon snaps.
Can you just not joke around for 2 seconds?
I can't protect you, Elena. That's how long it takes you to get your head ripped off.
This is so crucial because while Elena has already realized it to some extent, this really shows her how much Damon uses his snarky humor to hide the fact that he cares about anything from anyone, including himself, because he's been cracking jokes this entire time to keep her from going in the house where Stefan is being held hostage, when in reality he is just worried about her safety. And then Alaric is looking at the two of them like, what the hell is going on? Which brother is she even dating? I hate it here.
Are you insane?
10 out of 10 delivery on this line. 10 out of 10 interaction. He gets so irritated with her whenever she violates her own safety. I love it. I love it. And then Stefan is home safe and sound, which brings us into episode 18.
You ask, I come. I'm easy like that. No, Elena, I will not go to your bedroom with you.
The frequency at which people around Damon and Elena are just like, what is going on with these two, is so funny. It's like that everybody knows but them sort of vibe.
Just like I remembered.
Whack. Because she does not know that he has been in her room before, right? Like, he's been there while she's asleep and that's it. Does she know that he's not joking?
Stop messing around.
Bro. And then Damon just chilling on Elena's bed with her little teddy bear. It's hilarious. Like, why is he just a little child running around Elena's room, touching everything he shouldn't? How is he so comfortable with her? Like, he's so comfortable with her.
He's not you. Not even close.
Well, he doesn't want to be me. That doesn't mean deep down that he's not.
That left Elena shook. because she spends so much time trying to convince herself that Stefan is the good brother, but at their core, maybe they aren't so different, and maybe her feelings towards the two of them are not so different either. And then later at the founders party, he gives her that little rose from the table, and it's so cute. Like, he gets so fidgety when she's around, and it's adorable. It's adorable. Real ones know what's coming in episode 19. I bet you've been waiting for this one, huh? First of all, Damon sneaking into the dressing room is so funny. Like, Elena is so annoyed.
Hi, sisters!
Jump scare warning, Damon.
Stefan's still drinking human blood.
Stefan on human blood equals Stefan in his gaslight era, so he tries to spin this around and make the intervention about Damon and Elena bonding.
So what, so you and Damon all of a sudden have everything figured out then?
It's not about Damon.
Which probably would not have crossed his mind without the previous discussions about Damon and Elena bonding. Elena is not taking it though.
Are you hearing yourself right now?
Good for her. Good for her. Damon's iconic rescue while Stefan is off using Amber as a 7-Eleven Slurpee is literally everything. Like, the way he looks at her when she's coming down the stairs. If someone ever looked at me like that, I would actually die on the spot. We get more of Rick being like, what is going on with these two? Featuring Jenna this time.
I don't like this!
This is supposedly the first time Elena really realized how sexy he is to her.
I remember that was the first time that I felt it.
Felt what?
How sexy he was.
Which, I don't believe you, because first of all, how did it take you 19 episodes to realize that he was hot? He had me at...
Hello, brother.
Second of all, I saw your face when you met him. You have thought he was hot since day one. Whatever, liar.
I mean, obviously I knew that he was attractive, but I didn't want to see him that way.
So anyways, she's just doing this little dance with him and straight up panicking. Like, her man Stefan is over here lying to her, Damon's over here being sexy, and she has a lot of emotions inside that she has to process, not even counting the fact that she's only in this pageant because her mom signed up with her. God, the tension in this dance is unreal. Later, he grabs her hand to tell her there's blood in the upstairs bathroom. Like, he is so comfortable touching her, and she is so comfortable with it too. And then Elena rebanes Stefan and says she's gonna stay with him and wait outside the super normal basement prison cell. And Damon decides to stay and sit with her too. Like he knows she's struggling with this, and he knows his company will help her. Episode 20 both starts and ends with Elena calling out Damon for actually caring.
I couldn't have him running around chewing on people while the town was looking for vampires, now could I?
It had nothing to do with you actually caring about him.
Your thing, not mine.
Sure, Jan.
Stephanie yet?
I thought you didn't care. Don't do that. Okay, don't pretend like you don't care.
Like, she knows. She knows that he just pretends to hate Stefan. Like, the way he was talking to Stefan in the last episode just shows how much he loves his brother.
It's okay. Come on. It's okay. Stefan.
He's low-key super excited about it when he's asking.
So you'll be here again tonight?
Is that a problem?
Yes. You are a complete nuisance.
Like, their banter is just so comfortable. Like, she knows and he knows that him sarcastically saying this is really just him reaffirming that he likes having Elena there. His little annoyed what when he answers the phone for Elena is so funny. Like, I could watch him say it on a loop for an hour.
What?
He's like, I will drop anything for you at any given moment, but I will be annoyed about it, or at least pretend to be. This episode also shows repeatedly how comfortable Elena and Damon have gotten with each other.
His favorite kind of what?
Type of animal blood that he prefers.
Ooh, gross.
I would say drop dead, but...
Stefan likes puppy blood. Little golden retriever puppies, cute floppy ears.
BFFR. What did that spell? Be fucking for real.
Are you two friends now?
I don't have any friends, Elena.
In this moment, Elena is 50% offended and 50% just like, why do you lie to me and yourself? Who does it benefit?
Just stay up here. You shouldn't be down there by yourself.
He cares about her so much. Like, there is no danger in her being with her little vervained, locked up boyfriend other than the emotional danger, and Damon doesn't want her going through that. They have this whole exchange about trusting Stefan, which is more of Elena just very subtly calling out Damon's care for Stefan.
Very trusting of him, given the circumstances.
So are you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be leaving.
And then when he comes back,
Oh, God. You're still here?
he's so comfortable just picking up Elena's legs and plopping them on his lap. Like, Stefan who?
My meow meow.
The way she runs after him and grabs his arm when he's mad is so sweet. She does not want him to be upset. Elena learning why Damon feels such a need to hate Stefan is such a crucial moment. Stefan forcing Damon to transition into a vampire is such a violation of personal autonomy. One of the biggest debates in this fandom is whether Stefan or Damon is the better brother. And this is a debate that Elena is constantly having internally as well.
It doesn't help that you spent the last 145 years punishing him for Catherine getting caught.
This is my fault now.
Elena wants so badly for there to be a clear good brother and a clear bad brother, and she's realizing that it's not that easy. They both kind of exist, like most people do, in this morally gray area. In season 3, Damon even sort of calls out this thought process.
Or maybe you're hoping I'll screw it up so I can just make the decision for you. Am I wrong?
Like she's gotten very used to him doing bad things that make it easy for her to not act on her feelings upon him.
You sabotage things.
Meanwhile, in this instance, she's very used to Stefan doing good things, making it easy for her to only have feelings for Stefan and not have feelings for Damon. And then she learns that that's not always the case. This whole interaction is just so crucial for Damon's personal healing and for healing his relationship with Stefan. And we really see that play out in episode 21.
You've successfully cured him of anything that was interesting about his personality.
Don't forget to help me.
I hate myself.
Like, Damon sarcastically pretending to hate Stefan or hate himself for helping Stefan is his earliest iteration of showing affection for Stefan, and Elena helped him get to this point. As much as Damon leaned into the bad boy persona, he also hates being seen as bad, while Stefan is always seen as good.
You said there was more.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
And Elena hearing him out really helped him. When Elena's birth mother, Isobel, rolls up to town,
I was a little too distracted by my dead vampire wife to ask any questions.
the drama really starts to kick off.
You don't have to see her if you don't want to.
I don't really have a choice.
She's threatening to go on a killing spree.
Oh, I take it that's not okay with you guys?
Shut the hell up.
This scene again just shows how twisted Damon's view of love is. Like, he's joking about it, but Damon really would be okay sacrificing literally any other human for the sake of Elena's happiness and comfort.
Why didn't you go for Damon? Or do you enjoy them both?
Isobel is sick for that. She's wrong for that.
And I think that you underestimate how much Damon cares about you.
That's also wild, because while Elena trusts Damon and is comfortable with him and cares for him, I think there's still a part of her that questions if she's being stupid for feeling the way she does for him. And there's also a part of her that thinks he loves Catherine and will only ever love Catherine. Meanwhile, there's this woman who just rolled up to town and is already so aware that Damon would do literally anything for Elena. The whole exchange where Elena gets the device that Isobel wants from Damon is wild.
But you can trust me.
Like, she is giving Damon those eyes in front of Stefan, in front of God, in front of everyone.
How did you know that he was going to give it to me?
Because he's in love with you.
Like, Isabel's main mission when rolling up to Mystic Falls was to cause drama, and you cannot change my mind. Honestly, good for you. Because she's just stating what literally everyone else already knows and is just too afraid to say. Like, good for her.
But we all know that you're not Catherine.
This is kind of similar to the...
She's not Catherine.
Well, let's hope not. We both know how that ended.
I am not Catherine.
History will not be repeating itself, where Elena's concerned.
This one is especially funny because history doesn't repeat itself, but not in the way that Stefan intended when he made this statement. It's this sort of very subtle foreshadowing. Catherine doesn't love Damon in the same way that she loves Stefan, and Elena is not Catherine, and 2 + 2 equals...
I love you.
I love you. Because I love you.
I love you.
That little Delena hug parallels season 2, episode 8 so nicely. Like, there is so much angst in that stare. The season 1 finale is nuts.
It's Founders Day. I'm here to eat cotton candy and steal your girl.
I feel like Damon joking about this shows that in this exact moment, while he has intense feelings for Elena, he doesn't really have any intent of acting on them. Like, I feel like if he had plans to act on them, he would be trying to hide his feelings more. And then that shows how much he shifts by the end of the episode.
Elena is not Catherine.
Psych! Damon's wave has no business being as funny as it is here. And of course, Damon is the first person Elena sees after the parade.
Actually, Elena, it is a compliment of the highest order.
And then she panics and asks him to stop flirting with her, like...
So I think you should stop with the flirty little comments and that I thing that you do.
What I think?
If the flirting didn't have her feeling some type of way, she wouldn't ask him to stop because it wouldn't be bothering her. But I don't blame her because that I thing has me feeling many things and he's not even doing it at me.
Don't make me regret being your friend.
That wiped the smile right off his face.
So what, you gonna kill me just because I hurt Elena's feelings?
Jeremy saying this is hilarious for so many reasons. Like, he's really making fun of how much Damon cares about Elena. And also it's a little bit funny because Damon does actually try to kill Jeremy many times. When Damon comes up and grabs Elena's hand during the little festival, she really has the audacity to like act all confused, like they don't hold hands every other episode. Ooh, and we have another conversation between Stefan and Elena regarding Damon.
But I love you, Stefan. I know that you're worried about that.
I know my brother.
But I love you, Stefan.
Lying through her teeth. Lying through her teeth. That's all I'll say. No, she really does. Whatever. This last scene isn't actually an interaction with Elena. However, Damon thinks it is, and that's all that counts.
Somewhere along the way, you decided that I was worth saving.
Like, I scream, I cry, I throw up that he does not actually say it to her. Like, it's so ironic that he's being vulnerable and sharing his feelings with the woman who's actually the reason he was so closed off in the first place and he doesn't even know it. I cannot believe that they play us like this. Like, I was punching the air and cheering the first time I watched this, and all I can say is this cliffhanger is insane. If I had been watching this show when it was first on air, I would need severe help in the months in between this season finale and the start of season 2. And so we end season 1 with Damon and Elena in very different places. Damon thinks that he has a real chance with Elena. Meanwhile, Elena has admitted out loud that she cares about Damon, but she has convinced herself that it won't interfere with her relationship with Stefan. And season 2 starts out with some real love triangle chaos. But that's all the analyzing we'll be doing of Damon and Elena for today. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I've been planning it for quite some time, so if you did enjoy it, please let me know by giving this a thumbs up and let me know in the comments which season 1 Delena scene is your personal favorite. Hopefully I will get all of my season 2 notes taken before the Vampire Diaries get taken off Netflix on September 3rd, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye! Which leads to another confrontation between, I can't say that word. Confrontation. Okay, there we go. Because she knew that Damon, honestly, like, I could make a whole episode about, the super normal basement prison cell.